Okay, so for this activity, I want you to use this worksheet, and you're going to be practicing with the root word port. It comes from our bell ringer as well from earlier in the week. Port is a root word, and it means to carry, or you can also think of it as to bring. You don't have anything filled out on this chart yet, or on this paper yet. So where you see the very dark red words, I want you to write those. The first word is airport. The second word is import. And the third word is export. Now I've given you a little bit of a head start, even though I'm wanting you to come up with the meaning. I've told you a category that these words could belong to, and lately we've been focusing on a category that tells the part of speech. Airport is a place, which means it's a noun. So what I want you to do is tell me the meaning of an airport. What happens at this place? And how does it relate to the word port even? Import and export are unique because they can sometimes be an action, which is a verb, and they can sometimes be a noun, which is a thing. It's going to depend on the way that it's being used in the sentence, just like the practice quiz that you guys did yesterday in Schoology, and just like the work we've been doing in class with multiple meaning words. So for example, if I were to use the word import as an action, I might say something like, the car parts are being imported from Japan. So the noun that I'm talking about are car parts, and what's happening with the car parts? They're being imported, so means they're going to be carried in. Okay. If I'm going to use it as a thing, as a noun, I might say something like, I might say those car parts in the garage are imports. So notice how I'm using the word. Those car parts in the garage are imports. So I'm naming them as a thing rather than talking about an action. So it can be just a little bit tricky, or I might even give like an example of what an import, like I just did, like car parts. Sometimes car parts are an import, or sometimes car parts are imported from another country. So I'm talking about the same thing, but I just kind of used them a little bit differently. So give me a meaning of what import would be if it's an action, and give me a meaning of what import would be if it's a noun. And you're going to do the same thing for export. They're going to be pretty similar with your meaning. Just make sure that however you describe this one, you're telling me that it's an action of doing something. And then whatever you describe it as a noun, you're making sure that you're describing it as a thing. The top part, I haven't had you do this yet, but the related words part, all this is like, what other words could you think of that have port? And you just kind of doodle them around. So you could go back to Monday's bell ringer, and you could even write down some of these words, or if you think of some more, you can put them on here. So you're not defining them or anything, you're just like writing down some that come to mind. So transport, portable, support. What are some other words that you can think of? If you can go all the way around, that's awesome. If not, just what are some other words that you can think of that relate to port? And this bottom piece is actually pretty interesting. You're going to learn about the Columbian Exchange in 5th grade. This is all about, like, during the time of exploration, things that began to be, or imports and exports that began to be shared between countries, and particularly these are continents. So like from the Americas, strawberries were taken to Europe, Africa, and Asia. And then if it weren't for the Columbian Exchange or this type of exploration, the Americas wouldn't have chickens or donkeys because those were imported to the Americas. So just an interesting thing to take a look at, and you'll learn more about that in 5th grade. So, all right, bring that to school with you on Monday, and it is okay also if you're, using the internet for some help on how to define these, okay?